Guys, it's Tim with Weibo Inc. and in today's video we're going to teach you how to make a simple and sleek streaming graphics package. We're going to help you take your stream from okay looking and bump it up a little bit and give it what some people like to say, a little flavor. We're going to do all this within Photoshop, so let's open Photoshop right now and check it out. Alright guys, so we're here in Photoshop and the first thing we want to do is create a new document. You can do that 3 different ways. You can either go right here and create a new document by clicking Create New. You can either go up here to File New, or you can hit on your keyboard Control N. Document we need is 1920 by 1080. Resolution doesn't matter, just make it something low. 72 is standard for webs, so we'll just go with that. We're going to create a new layer. Now the first thing we need to do, we're creating our intermission screen for our graphics, because our intermission screen is really going to serve as our base for everything else we create. So we're going to double click our background. We're going to unlock it. We're going to name it background. Now the first thing we want to do is we want to get a background color. I want black, but I don't want black. I don't want pure black. I want, let's go up here, 1415. We're going to fill our background. We can either use edit, fill with our foreground, or if you want your foreground color, you hold Alt on your keyboard, Alt or Option, depending on if you're on Windows or Mac, and backspace. It'll fill it in. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get our pen tool right here. We're going to get a nice blue color. I'm going to go, let's see, 110, 249. We're going to make a triangle here in our top left. Also make sure your fill is selected and your stroke is set to none. I'm going to go here, here, here. You see I made it extra big. That's just in case I want to move it in or out or reposition it. Now what we want to do is we want to get like a gray or a silver, whatever you want to say. And we're going to select our Align tool. Now make sure that your triangle shape layer is not selected. And with it not selected, we're going to change our color here up here at the top. We're then going to make a line. I want the width of this to be maybe around 12. We're going to make it a little longer than the width of our box or our document. We are then going to edit, free transform, or Control T on your keyboard, and line that up as well as you can with our triangle as far as the angle goes. And you can get it right up, butted up to check. We're close enough. So now I'm just going to start getting creative here. I'm going to move this to about here. We're then going to duplicate it. You can either hit Control J on your keyboard or bring it down here, drag the layer, and put it on the new layer button. Release it. You got a new one. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to transform, Control T on your keyboard, make this one just a little thinner. Let's go 70. I'm going to move it up here. And this is all preference on what you guys want. Like this one, I think I want to move up a little more. And we're going to duplicate this other one, transform. Let's go 50. We're going to move this to about here. We're going to zoom out. And what we want to do now is we want to select all of our layers except for our background. Right click and click Group from Layers or Control G on your keyboard. And we're going to name it Top Left. We are then going to duplicate the group and name it Bottom Right. Now you can name these whatever you want. It's all based on your workflow, your work style. We are then going to go with the bottom right group selected, edit, transform, flip horizontal. We're going to go back to edit, transform, and we're going to click flip vertical and just drag this right down into this corner and set it however you want. I'm also going to only make it 2 lines, so I'm going to delete the middle line. I'm going to take our shape here. Let's go there. Let's then bring this to maybe there. And now our base is done. But we need to tell people that this is an intermission screen. So let's write the word intermission. Let's go here. Let's make this bigger. Let's go about there. What I want to do with this is I want to bring this all the way down under our two groups above the background layer. I then want to double click it to bring up our layer styles. And when you first open your layer styles, you'll be in your blending options. And I want to take our fill option there under advanced blending and bring it all the way down to 0. Yes, it disappeared, but then we're going to click stroke. We're going to add a stroke. You can make that whatever size you want. I think 5 is about good. You can either go inside or outside depending on your font. I like outside for this font. And there we go. So now we need our camera box. When you do an intermission screen, it's all based on what you want on your intermission screen. You can do just a big camera box and be done with it. Well, most people like on their intermission screen the camera box and the chat. So we're going to do both of those. One way to make this really easy is our document is the exact size that your camera should really be if it is a HD camera. So what we need to do is create a new layer, either Control-N, Control-Shift-N on our keyboard, or you can go down here to Add New Layer and just fill it. But don't fill it with the color you're using. You want a contrasting color. Let's go red. It's our foreground, so we're going to click Alt Backspace to fill it. We're then going to Control-T to transform. You're just going to move it down to whatever size you desire it to be. This is completely up to you and your preference. So I'm going to go there. I'm then going to double click it to bring up my layer styles. I am again, just like we did with our text, going to take out the fill and add a stroke. I'm going to, let's go 8 on the stroke. I'm also going to make it a little smaller. We then need our chat box. So we can go here to our rectangle tool. And just make a chat box. Whatever size you really want is okay. We're then going to right click on our camera box. Go to copy layer styles. Right click on our chat box. Paste layer styles. Then select both of those and move them around. As long as you remember to have your arrow tool selected when you want to move stuff. Also, I think I want the chat box stroke to be a little thinner than the camera box stroke. Let's go about 4 or 5. We'll go 5. So now I want to add a little more branding to this. Let's create a quick little logo icon. You can either just put your name there, Inc., or you can create we can also go in and create a little fancy icon logo thing. Now remember, we have live effects or live layer styles. When I click Control-T and go to resize this, watch what happens to the stroke. If I go bigger, seemingly it looks like our stroke gets a little smaller. When I go smaller, it's going to look like our stroke is increasing, overtaking. So we're going to make it the size we want, and then going to place it here. I actually want it a little bit smaller than that. My stroke's too big now, so we need to go decrease the stroke a little. Let's just set it how you want it. You can also, if you want, up here put chat for chat box. That's completely up to you. And the one last thing we're going to do here is we're going to add our social media handles. We're going to take that from the style of the intermission at the top. What you can do is you can get your own social media logos, however you want to do that. I'm going to grab mine right here. So we got the Twitter logo. So I'm going to grab mine right here. We got the Twitter logo. We're just going to take it out of our folder here in our File Explorer and drop it right in. And just size it up however big or small you want it. I'm going to go about 8% of the regular size. We're going to stick it right down here. We're going to then duplicate our intermission text. We're going to bring that down. And we're going to @ Weibo Inc. Then going to scale that down. Remember, it's going to mess with your stroke. So you're going to need to compensate that afterwards. I'm going to place it right about there. Stroke is too big now. We're going to decrease our stroke. Right about there is fine for me. But now, I don't want that Twitter blue. We're going to double click our Twitter bird logo. And I'm going to change that color blue with the color overlay to the color blue we've been using for our design, our color. Now you can come in here, make sure your layers are together. Also, one other thing you might want to do is just to clean everything up. Make a group just for your camera box. Name this one chat box. And then you have your social medias as well. So we're also going to bring in our Instagram. Just going to line that up so they're about roughly the same size. We're going to bring that over here. And then we're going to, on our Twitter bird, we're going to right click, copy layer style. And our Instagram logo, we're going to paste the layer style. Also, I want to add YouTube on that. We need to scale everything down. So I'm going to select all of our social media links. We're going to scale them down. Remember, if you do this, you might need to change the stroke size. We're then going to go in our YouTube logo. And a logo like YouTube, we're going to have to fix it a little bit. We're going to zoom in here, make this roughly the same size. Gotta make sure we get it lined up. We are then going to duplicate our text. We're gonna bring that over, pop that here, and they're gonna think, oh, I need it blue to match the Instagram logo, to match the Twitter logo. So if we were just to take our YouTube logo, right click, paste layer style, oh no, what happened? Because if you look at the YouTube logo, if we backspace, or if we back out of that with edit undo, or Control Z, there's two different colors here. So what we need to do is essentially cut out our middle. So we're going to get our magic wand tool, you hit W on your keyboard, and with the YouTube logo selected, we're going to select it. We are then going to create a layer mask down here with add new layer mask. And with the layer mask selected up here on your layers panel, you want to Control I to invert it. Now you can add your blue, and there we go. Our intermission screen is complete. And like I told you earlier, our intermission screen is going to serve as our base for all the other things we create. But let's also clean this up a little bit. So we got this here. Make a group and name it social media links. Also with them all in one group. You can position them. You can resize them easily because they're all together. Now the last thing we need to do is we need to duplicate our background. And either one, it doesn't matter, turn it off. We then need to select our chat box with holding Control on your keyboard and hitting the thumbnail. Now, there are these little ants crawling around. With that selected, you want to make sure your background layer is selected and just hit delete. Now you want to do the same thing with your camera box. Control left click, delete. That way, when you bring it into your streaming software, whether that is OBS or whether that is XSplit or something else, you can then have this as a PNG and then your chat box can go in the layer under it, and your camera can go in the layer under that. And if we want to see how this is going to look with some examples, we can bring in some example images. So we can bring this here, scale it up. We've also got a chat box we can throw in there just for... And there we go. That is our intermission screen. The last thing you will need to do is you will need to create a layer mask right here. So that is your top left. So we want to control click, go to our top left folder or group, whatever you want to call it, create a layer mask, and then invert that layer mask. We're done. Intermission screen complete. Now we need to create technically three more things. What we want to do is we want to create a new document. Control N on your keyboard, 1920 by 1080. Then we want to grab our social media links, our bottom right, our top left, and our background layers. We want to right click them, duplicate layers, and when we click document destination, we want to enter a new document we just created untitled 2. So now we go back there, we turn on our background layer. We want to delete the layer mask off of this, so delete layer mask by right clicking on it. Also, we can delete this layer, we don't need it. And now we're creating our be right back screen. So what you can do here is you can get your text tool and just type in be right back. You can then scale that up. There you go. Or we can get a little fancy with it. We'll change the colors. Be right back. Also, what we can do is we need one that says stream starting soon. So I'm going to go starting as my base word. I'm then going to duplicate that, Control J on my keyboard. We're going to go stream and make that smaller. Let's go about 200. I'm also going to change the color on that. I'm going to duplicate it, Control J, and just create this that says soon. Position those. Make those a little smaller. And there we go. We just created, in 60 seconds, 2 more screens. Stream starting soon. Be right back. We've got one last thing we need to create. Make another document. Control N on your keyboard, 1920 by 1080. We are then going to go back to our intermission screen, and we are going to grab our camera folder, duplicate group, duplicate that into our untitled 3, and just center that up right there. You can turn off, actually you can delete your background layer. You don't even want it. Just for reference, we can throw this in here. And one thing you can do with this, move it all the way down and make a layer mask on it, just so it stays within the boundaries of this box. And you can say, I'm done. You can go, that's it. But I'm not satisfied with just a rectangle with a border. Oh no. I need to add a little flavor to it, as they say. So what we are going to do is we're going to go back in here and we're going to grab our bottom right, top left, and duplicate those into our new document. We are then going to delete the layer mask off of bottom left. We are going to take both of those groups and group them again. I'm just going to name it corners. You'll see why in a minute. We're then going to take our layer mask here, select it with Control click, Control left click. Make sure your corners group is selected. Create a new layer mask. Now, say we want the bottom right. We're going to Control T, transform it, and it's literally going to go right here on our camera. We do the same thing with our top left. Throw this here, and we can reposition however we want. Maybe don't make those as far spread out. Just adding a little more to it. Just the slightest little things is going to make it look so much better. I'm going to go Maybe I don't want it 100% like my intermission screen. And there we go. We just created our camera box, because then you can take this one, save it as a PNG, throw it into your OBS, throw it into your XSplit. You can position it wherever you want and rescale it. We don't need to. Some people might tell you, oh, in Photoshop, make it the exact size you want it. No. You want to make it bigger than you want it, so when you throw it into your streaming software, you can size it down, shrink it down to the size you actually need. But what we have done right now, what we have done today, is created our camera box. We've created our Be Right Back screen. We've created our Starting Soon screen. And we've created our intermission screen. Alright guys, so I hope you liked this video. I hope you liked what we created here. And I hope it gives you like a little base, I guess you could say, to go out there and create your own graphics for your stream. But this is only part 1, because part 2 will be coming next week. And part 2 will show you how to take this graphics package and make your Twitch channel layout fit and be similar. So with that, guys, remember to follow us on social media, hit all those buttons, hit that subscribe button down below to be notified whenever we put out a new video right here on the Weebly Graphic Design channel. So again, I hope you guys got something out of this, and have a great day.